A very good evening, dear students. So, I have come again today to give you important information about an unmissable opportunity for every CA students. So, before I begin, that what's that opportunity? Let's watch a video. So, dear students, ICAI has come up with this opportunity. And this is a special webinar for you students. The topic of the session will be Charcha ka Vishay CA Pariksha. So let's all come together and be part of this empowering session wherein the leadership of ICAI will guide you and will help you to strategically attempt the exams. In this session, you will get clarity. So join this session. The date, mark your date and save it in your calendars. The date is 25th of April 2025. Time is 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And you can join it digitally at the link that is given in the video. So don't miss this opportunity. It is very important for you. You will be meeting and greeting the who's who of our profession. So with this, Harleen ma'am, you can take over the session for today and let's try that our students attend this session and take the full advantage of it.
Definitely, ma'am. We'll make sure that each one of them present over here who has heard you will be definitely joining the session. All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. A very good evening to all my dear students. So as ma'am has informed you, I would really happy to see all of you attending that session. So Institute is making an effort for us. We should wholeheartedly participate in such kind of things. Good evening, Anushka, Vemuri, Priyanka, Alma, Soumya, Memediti, all of you, those who have joined the class, Mr. M.A. Good evening, everyone, children. I hope you have revised what we have done in the previous class. We have already started with the chapter of acceptance of deposits. Almost 40 to 50% of the chapter was covered. In today's class, we will be covering the balance 50% of the chapter. And also we'll be understanding how to attempt certain questions related to examination so that you know how you have to write the answers for those questions also. So as we always follow the standard practice of revising what we have done in the previous class, so here is a quick recap of what we have done in our previous class. So can anyone remind me, what did we do? We did the definition of deposits. Yes. Thank you, Ms. Soumya. Yes, I'm absolutely fine now. Thank you so much for your concern. Ma'am, when will we get the link to join this video in WhatsApp group? Okay, Ms. Priyanshi, I'll check with the technical team and update you on the same. Point number 8 in Hindi, ma'am, ek bari samjha dijiye, Priyanka Pandey. Okay, Priyanka, we'll be going through all the points and I will explain you that respective point in Hindi also. Okay? All right. Okay, so we have started with the definition of the word deposit. I told you it's an inclusive definition and many things are included in it. But we did a specific list of 16 to 17 items as per rule 2, which is not included in the definition of the word deposit. So when I ask you, that If the any amount received from Indian government, is it deposit? No, ma'am, it is not deposit related to any foreign government, foreign institutions. If you are receiving any amount, I told you, for those things, FEMA rules are applicable. It is not considered as deposit. Any loan facility taken from banking companies is not a deposit. Again, regarding commercial paper, we had a huge discussion. It is not a deposit. Intercorporate loans will not be considered as a deposit. Regarding sixth item, I would like to ask a question to the class. If the share application money is received by the company, within how many days the shares should be allotted? If a share application money has been received, advance has been received, within how many days? They're very good, excellent. Rihana, Priyanka, Soumya, all of you have revised your lesson so well. Ananya, excellent. Priyanka Pandey, Anubhav, very good. Almas, Rajveer, 60 days is the correct answer. So, Mamidicity, Miss Bhavya, I think Miss Bhavya would be easy for me to call you. Yes, Miss Bhavya, if we have not allotted the shares in 60 days, then within how many days the prize money has to be refunded to the investors? 15 days. Very good. Everybody was ready with a click. Everyone has immediately clicked. They knew that this second question coming up. So 15 days is the correct answer. And can I make any adjustment for this refund money instead of paying back the money? Can I adjust it against any amount that was pending to be received from my suppliers? Can I do that adjustment? Yes or no? Is it allowed? Everybody agrees it's not allowed? Absolutely correct. No adjustment of refund can be done. If you have adjusted, means you have not refunded the money. Now a penalty will be charged. That means you have, now it will be treated as deposit. Okay. Excellent, Harsh, Anushka, all of you. Then the seventh point was, if you have received any amount from a director or a relative of director of the private company, so it will not be considered as a deposit. So can we receive the amount from the relative of a director of a public company? Shall it be a deposit or not a deposit? Tell me. Any amount received from a relative of a director. Asta Sethi, good. Rajita, all those who are there on the portal. Yes, I can see your answers. Well done. Yes, absolutely correct. Any amount received from a relative of a director will be considered as a deposit because that is not the condition. Only the director and relative of director of private company is accepted. And any amount received from a director of a public company is also not a deposit. But if a relative of public company के director के relative से हुआ है, then it will be considered as a deposit because under Rule 2, Clause 7, relative is not exempt. ठीक है? Shalini, Harsh, MA, all of you are correct. Bhavya, Dhanush, all of you. But what were the two conditions to be fulfilled? That they have to give a declaration that the money that they have lended as a deposit is not borrowed money, and they will disclose this in the board's report. Clear? Now we are going to do this eighth point, the amount raised by way of bonds and debentures by a first charge or charge ranking pari passu. We are not going to do, I'm going to ask you because this is a revision, we have already done it. So what is the meaning of first charge and pari passu charge? Means similar charge. अगर मैंने एक बॉटल के अगेंस्ट सिक्योरिटी देकर लोन लिया है तो सेम बॉटल को सेम प्राइस पे मैंने सिक्योरिटी देकर लोन लिया. मींस pari passu charge has been created. That means on the equal footing, the same footing, I have created a charge against the same property. So if the bonds and debentures have been issued, the security value shall exceed the market value. Bonds and debentures are compulsory convertible into shares, means whatever bonds and debentures that you have issued by creating a security charge, they will be converted into equity in 10 years. And if they are non-secured, they're non-convertible, then they're listed on a recognized stock exchange. So security, compulsory conversion, and listed, these were the 3 points. If these things are conditions are satisfied, then the bonds and debentures that you have issued by creating a charge will not be considered as a deposit. Fair enough. Everybody agrees to this point? Okay, good. Then, if I have taken a deposit from my employee whose salary is 5 lakh rupees per annum, and he has given me a deposit of 4,50,000 and no interest is being paid to him on this security deposit. Will it be considered as a deposit? Yes or no? His annual salary is 5 lakh. Why did you say yes, Tanu and Priyanka Pandey? हाँ मुझे लगा था मैम सैलरी ज्यादा बताएंगी, डिपॉजिट ज्यादा बताएंगी. So I have told you the deposit is not exceeding, so it is not a deposit. Very good, Khushi, everybody. Yes, now Priyanka, you have said not a deposit. Correct. Harsh, Bhavya, all of you, Rajvi, Ray. Yes, very good. It is deposit only if it exceeds the annual salary. Okay, 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 good. Okay, पहले वाले के लिए yes कहा था, मैंने पढ़ लिया. प्रियंका पांडे, good. Vemri, Tanu, absolutely correct. Any amount received from trust, again, if it is a non-interest bearing, it will not be considered as deposit. Now, for the ordinary course of business, I was thinking to ask you a question so that you answer me. So here is a question in front of you on the screen that, oh my God, where has it gone? Enumerate the cases, amounts when which received by the company in the ordinary course of business are not to be considered as deposit. If you get a question like this, what are you going to write in the exam? What are the cases in which in the ordinary course of business, if you have received amount, it will not be considered as deposit? So you will tell them all the points given under rule 2.1, clause C, point number 12. So even if you write rule 2 as per the rules of acceptance of deposits chapter, then also it's fine. If you remember this, it's okay. Otherwise, it's okay to write rule 2. या फिर as per the provisions of the Companies Act and Companies Rules, following amount shall not be considered as deposit if they are received in the ordinary course of business. Number one, amount of advance. If 365 days is the time period, the goods have been provided. However, if there is any legal proceeding, then 365 days will not apply. Second is, you have to answer it, my dear. Again, I am only answering. It's a revision going on. What is the second part? Advance received for immovable property. First is advance in the ordinary course of business, 365 days वाली condition थी. Second क्या था? Amount of advance for the immovable property. It has to be adjusted against the property when finally bought. Then the security deposit for the performance of contract. Very good. Long-term projects. Excellent. Then what were the point related to point A, B, and D? What was the condition? If there is, due to any of the reasons, if the amount could not be provided, then you have to give a refund within how many days? चलो ये देखते हैं किसको याद. Yes, future service warranty, AMC, all these points, but related to A, B, and D, we have done a certain point. Anubhav, Soumya, Kirti has answered. Miss P, Rajvi, Ray, excellent. Within 15 days, Almas, good. The amount has to be refunded back. You have to mention about this provision. So if such a kind of direct, straightforward question comes in the exam, entire 6 marks in your pocket if you remember this. So learning has to be done. There is no escape route from the learning. We cannot say that I was sitting in the class when ma'am was explaining, I understood each and everything, but now I cannot recall. Why? Because I have not revised it. So revision part, teaching part is my job. Understanding is your, learning and revising is 100% your job. If you will not do that, then you will never be able to retain the information. अगर हम चाहते हैं कि हमें चीजें याद रहे, तो उसकी सिंपल टिप है, जिस दिन मैम ने पढ़ाया है उससे नेक्स्ट डे या उसी दिन मैंने पढ़ना ही पढ़ना. अगर मैंने उसको उस दिन रीड कर लिया, if I've read it in the same day, I will never forget. So please, children, always remember this. All right. So now one more question I wanted to ask all of you before we proceed ahead. So this wire electricals, I think we have done this one where a term loan was taken from ABC Bank. So you all remember taking any money from bank is not deposit. Okay, let's try doing this. RS Limited received a share application money of rupees 50 lakh, but the shares were not. Have we done this one? Did we do this question or not? Yes or no? Yes, Priyanka Pandey, excellent. Priyanka has written, yes, ma'am, when we understand and revise, it retained in a permanent memory. That's excellent. Good. Kirti says we have done it. Priyanka and Anubhav says no, we have not done it. So it is a very simple question related to share application. Quickly read it and give me the answers. All of you. The share application money of rupees 5 lakh was received. The customer was refunded by the way of book adjustment. Company secretary of RS Limited reported that the entire amount will be treated as deposit. So you have received the share application money, and when shares were not allotted, the amount was to be refunded. But you have failed to allot the shares, and instead of refunding, you are adjusting. So this 5 lakh rupees which you have made a book adjustment is not considered as a refund. Therefore, it will be treated as a deposit. The entire amount, it has been clarified that it should not be refunded. Now I remember, I can recall that we have done this in the previous class. So entire amount will not be treated as deposit. Only the 5 lakh adjustment that is not refunded will be treated as deposit. Okay. So we had a revision of this also, and you have already understood. That's great. This was the question that I want to give you as a test. So the promoters of Green Limited contributed in the form of unsecured loan in fulfillment of the margin money requirements stipulated by State Industries Development Corporation for profound granting loan. So they are the promoters of the company, and they're giving an unsecured loan to the company in order to meet the requirements given by SIDCL. So SIDCL has said certain, the lending bank has given the condition that the promoters will lend an unsecured money, then only we will give you the money. What are the rules? Whether this unsecured loan will be treated as a deposit, yes or no? Tell me. Miss P says not a deposit. Rajveer says not a deposit. Can anyone define what is the details, what you have to write? So this is absolutely correct. It is not a deposit. So rule 2 tells you that any amount which you have received because of the stipulation imposed by the lending institution from the promoters or their relatives themselves, such exemption is available only till the loans are repaid. Therefore, this amount of unsecured loan will not be considered as deposit because the stipulation has been set up by SIDCL and loan is given by the promoters themselves. Clear ho gaya sabko? One more question. Discuss the following situation in the light of deposit provisions. Sumit, one of the directors of ZAR Technology Private Limited, a startup company, requested his close friend Ritesh to lend to the company 30 lakhs in a single tranche by the way of convertible notes, which is repayable within a period of 6 years. Try applying the provisions of Companies Act and please solve this first question. Director hai, private company hai, startup hai, is lending a loan, close friend is lending money, 25 lakhs or more condition in a single tranche, repayable within a 6 years period. Please advise whether it is a deposit or not. First part of the question. Excellent. Everybody says, ma'am, it will not be a deposit. Are you sure? Some says, ma'am, it is deposit because it exceeds 25. Some says it is not a deposit. What was the time period for the conversion? 10 years? But what was the amount? Startup company receives 25 lakhs or more by the way of convertible note from a single tranche not exceeding 10 years. Then it is not considered as deposit. Here you have exceeded the amount 25 lakhs or more, by the way. So 25 lakhs or more is the condition. All right. So 30 lakhs will not be considered as a deposit, children. Absolutely correct. Minimum 25 lakhs hai. वो ये नहीं कह रहा कि 25 lakhs तक है. It has said you're a startup company. Yes, ma'am, in the question, you're a startup company. You have received the money 25 lakhs or more. So 25 lakhs से less होता, so it would have been a deposit. But 25 lakhs or more by way of convertible note, not exceeding 10 years. So there a period of 6 years is given. Single tranche word is given, so it will not be treated as deposit. So the first answer will be not to be treated as a deposit. Clear? Everyone clear now? Whatever you have revised, whatever you have learned, now you're applying it practical knowledge also. Polestar Traders Limited received a loan of 30 lakhs from Rachna, who is one of the directors. डायरेक्टर से लोन लिया है, लिमिटेड कंपनी है, पब्लिक कंपनी है, डिपॉजिट और नॉट अ डिपॉजिट? Absolutely not a deposit, but you have to give a condition that a declaration will be given that the amount was not being given out of the borrowed funds, and also the company will disclose it in the appropriate board report. If these conditions are satisfied, the amount will not be treated as a direct deposit. But had it been the relative of director of public company, फिर हम उसको deposit मान, ठीक है? Good. Let's see if we can do one more. No, next one you will not be able to do because that is relating to rule 3, which we are to do today. So one more we can do. Brinda Limited is a company manufacturing orange and strawberry candies for kids. Now the company wants to expand its business and start the manufacturing of 10 more type of candies. Company has raised 1 crore by the way of non-convertible debentures, which are not constituting a charge on the company and listed on the recognized stock exchange. Please advise whether 1 crore will be treated as deposit. Read the question very carefully and give me the justification for your answer. If you're saying yes or no, what is the answer? What is the justification to your answer? Because we are following under first category, second category, or third. Very good, Miss P. Very good. Mamidesiti. Bhavya. Good. Anubhav. Anubhav says it's a deposit. Why? What's the reason? Not a deposit because it's not secured, not convertible, but it is listed. So it is falling under the third category. It will not be considered as deposit because it is non-convertible, non-chargeable, but it is listed. Such an amount will not be considered as deposit. So it is basically falling under this third category. ये जो आपने bonds and debentures का point पढ़ा है ना, इसकी third category में ये fall कर रहा है, non-convertible, non-chargeable, but listed. Therefore, it is not. Clear, children? So I hope you enjoyed revising what you have done and the test was done well. It's okay, Anubhav. Still, at least you tried answering. You're making an effort. You are learning, revising. So that's well done. Okay? Don't worry even if you have answered any of the question wrong. Bonds are not covered in this. Mr. Harsh, bonds and debentures both are covered. Okay? See what point number 8 says. Bonds or debentures, both. Clear? Sabko clear ho gaya definition? Now let's move ahead to the new topic for today's class. That is, rest also please you can read. I think we have covered all these the questions. Now let's start with section 73. First of all, let's understand who is a depositor. So depositor is any member of the company who has made a deposit with the company as per the provisions of section 73 subsection 2. Or any person who has made a deposit with a public company according to section 76 of. Now, what is he trying to tell? I told you there are two types of companies, public company. Another one is private. Private company can take deposits from the members. Public company can take deposit from members also and public also. Both the company can take the deposits from the members. Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? So section 73, subsection 1, strictly tells you that no one can take any deposits unless you're following the provisions of this act. Only if you're following the provisions of this act, then only you can take the deposits. Otherwise, you cannot take the deposits. So how the deposit has to be taken from the members? Section 73, subsection 2 will tell you procedure how you can take the deposit from the members, whether you're a public company or you are a private. चाहे आप पब्लिक कंपनी हो, चाहे आप प्राइवेट कंपनी हो, आप मेंबर से किस तरह से डिपॉजिट ले सकते हो, वो कहां लिखा हुआ है? सेक्शन 73 सबसेक्शन 2 में. But how you can take the deposits from the public is given under section 76. So quickly tell me, can public company take the deposit from members and public both? Yes or no? Very good. Everybody says yes. Great. Can private company take deposits from members? Yes, ma'am. Can private company take deposits from public? No. So when public and private company are taking deposit from members, which section we are going to read? Section 73, subsection 2. Very good. And when the company is taking deposits from the public, that is which company? Public company. So public company, when taking the deposits from the public, will follow which section? Section 76. मेंबर से ले रहे हो तो 73 फॉलो करना है, पब्लिक से ले रहे हो तो 76 फॉलो करना है. सिंपल. सो ये बताता है डिपॉजिटर कौन हो सकता है, या तो मेंबर हो सकता है या फिर पब्लिक हो सकता है. पब्लिक है तो सेक्शन 76 फॉलो करेंगे, मेंबर्स है तो सेक्शन 73. So first we are going to understand. Now the topic says prohibition on acceptance of deposits. So here section 73 says we will not take the deposits from the public, but subsection 2 will tell you that yes, you can take the deposits from the members. Okay, thoda sa confusion hai yahan pe. That's why I'm clarifying to you. Mr. Somesh Singh, welcome to the class and wonderful answers given. Rajita, Astha Sethi, Mr. Somesh Singh, good. So on and after commencement of this act, company will not invite the deposits from the public except the manner given in this chapter. So whatever manner is given in this chapter, accordingly, you will be inviting the deposits from the public. However, nothing will apply to the banking companies and non-banking financial institutions. It says there is no restriction on the banking companies because banking companies का तो काम ही है ना. It's okay, Rajvi, no need to learn subsections. Even if you're learning sections, that is also very good. Okay, it's okay, no need to learn subsections. So banking companies का तो काम ही है, non-banking financial institutions के होते हैं NBFCs, which have been authorized by Reserve Bank of India to take the money from the people and give the interest income on it. So all these banking companies, their money is lending and borrowing money. So there is no prohibition on banking companies. They are free from these provisions. They don't have to follow section 73. So this subsection will not apply to banking companies and NBFCs because they are already in the business of borrowing and lending money. Now, here it talks about section 73, subsection 2, which says a company may, by passing a resolution in general meeting, can accept the deposits from its members after complying with the following conditions. So now we are going to understand in section 73 what are the 6 to 7 conditions to be fulfilled whenever the company wants to take the deposits from the members. Number 1, it will issue a circular in the form number DPT1 form, first form of this chapter. DPT1 form will be issued and the members will be informed about the financial position of the company, that this is what the company is doing. This is the kind of business, how our financial position is improving. The credit ratings that we have obtained from big organizations, they give you credit rating. Credit rating means that this is a good company. They have good credibility to repay the money. So when you as an individual, you go to borrow money from a bank will check your CIBIL score. They will see whether you are credit worthiness, how is your credit worthiness? Do you repay the loans or you don't? So company has to give its credit ratings also obtained from, for example, CRISIL will give their credit ratings. Okay. Total number of depositors that they have and deposits taken in the previous year accepted by the company, and other particulars are given in form DPT1. This form will be circulated among all the members of the company. So what the company is going to do? First, the company is going to pass a resolution in the general meeting. This is an ordinary resolution. Company will pass an ordinary resolution that let's accept the deposit from the debtors. Whenever the company is yes, high CIBIL score is good or low. Priyanka Pandey, if your CIBIL score is good, means if you have not defaulted in the repayments, then it is a good CIBIL score. Okay. Okay. So first you have to pass an ordinary resolution, and then second step is that you will issue a circular. Circular will be issued in which form number, children? In DPT1 form. So I will show you DPT1 form in a while. So it will give all the details of the company, that this is the business that we are doing, this is a financial position. Each and every detail of the company will be given, because now company is going to borrow deposits from its members. So they are circulating that we are not defaulters and we have been accepting deposit from the previous year also. So the company will issue a circular by way of registered post. How they are going to circulate this DPT-1? This will be circulated by a registered post with acknowledgement post or by electronic route. Circular will be published in English newspaper as well as in vernacular newspaper, having a wide circulation in the place where the registered office is situated. So now you're trying to circulate this TPT-1 form, how it is going to be circulated by registered post or by electronic mode acknowledgement post, and one in the English newspaper. If you're staying in Bombay, then in Maharashtra's state, Bombay newspaper will also be published. Whatever state you're staying in, that Marathi language will be coming up. Okay. First, you will circulate the circular DPT-1 form. Second form relates to the statutory auditor report. So you will also take a certificate of the statutory auditor. Who is a statutory auditor, children? कौन होता है statutory auditor? किसी को पता है? Anyone has any idea who is the statutory auditor of the company? Yes, Mr. Harsh, it's an ordinary resignation. Absolutely correct. Chartered accountants are the statutory auditors. Okay. Outside auditors, external auditors. Okay. Harshita, good. So auditor is a person who is coming to come and see whether you have done everything according to the policies of the company. The work is being done. The one who is doing the audit of the company. Okay. Tanu, Anubhav, Rajveer, good. So the statutory auditor, which you are going to become in your future, chartered accountants are the auditors of the company. Absolutely correct. So we as an auditor, what is our role and responsibility as an auditor? That we have to go and see that the company is complying with the provisions of all the acts and other provisions of the respective policies have been followed on. So company will take the certificate from the statutory auditor that the company has not committed any default in repayment of deposits or in payment of interest. Along with DPT-1 form, this certificate of statutory auditor will also be attached. So when you are circulating that circular to your members in DPT-1, you will also attach a auditor's certificate saying that yes, this is a good company, they have not defaulted. Defaulted means this company ne kabhi bhi deposits repay karne mein galti nahi kari. Why are you trying to give the certificate? Because you want to tell them that I'm a good company. I never make any default in repaying the deposit. So please give me money. You're asking money from the members, child. So DPT-1, along with the DPT-1, where you're giving the details of the company, you will also send the certificate of the statutory auditor, where you will write in detail that we have not committed any default. And if even if we have committed any default, 5 years has lapsed since the default was made. Which was the provision where you have done in the previous chapter, the same law we have read. Remember when DVRs were being issued? I taught you about this point. Company has not made any default, and even if any default is made, 5 years have elapsed from that point. What does it mean? That if the company has made any default in the year 2021, for example, and now in the year 2020, company has rectified its mistake. Now, by when they can go and ask for the deposits? So 5 years should have been passed. So by 2030 only, the company will be able to take the deposits. 5 years should have been passed. Mr. Dhanush, what are you texting? What are you saying that my question? Please write again, child, if your question is there. By 2030, very good. Anubhav, are you writing 2026? Within 5 years. Yes. 2030. Miss Soumya kare. Dhanush, please ask. What are you asking? Child, when I am taking up the topic, that time I am not looking into the chat box. Okay. I look into the chat box when I give you a question and you answer it. This is for public and private company, both. Mr. Dhanush, you answer me. You will accept the deposits from members. Will only the private company accept it or public company? Mr. Dhanush, you answer me, child. When you are taking the deposits from the members, can only public company, so both, so here is your answer. So this provision is for both the companies. ठीक है, समझ आ गया? Clarified, Mr. Dhanush? Clear? Okay. Yes, Anubhav, absolutely. Section 73, subsection 2 is for members and it is for both the companies. Okay. So first 2 points are clear, children. One, DPT1 will be circulated, and second, a statutory auditor certificate has to be given in which you will write that this company is a good company. It has not defaulted in the repayment of deposits. Even if it defaulted, 5 years have passed from the date when the default was made. Company is required to file this copy of the circular with ROC within 30 days before the date of issue of circular. So if you are issuing the circular on 30th April 2025, so by what date you should have filed it with the ROC? Tell me. The circular DPT1, if you are issuing on 30th April 2025, then by which date you should have filed it? It should have been filed within 30 days before the issue of date. So by 31st March, any dates. Why are you saying 30th May? Kushi Mehra, be careful, child. 30 days before the date of issue of circular. So circular market में जाने से पहले 30 दिन पहले ROC को आपने inform करना है. So you have to file a copy of circular with the ROC within 30 days before the date. So before you come out with the circular on 30th April, 30 days prior to this. So within 31st March to 30th April, within these days, any of the days you should have filed it with the ROC. Clear? Circular will remain valid. अब validity की बात करें. कब से कब तक ये सर्कुलर वैलिड रहेगा? ये सेक्शन 73 में द मेजर पॉइंट इज सर्कुलर ओनली, सो पे अटेंशन. ओके, दिस इज द ओनली इंपॉर्टेंट लेंथी पॉइंट, सो यू हैव टू लिसन इट टू केयरफुल. सो व्हाट इज द वैलिडिटी पीरियड ऑफ द सर्कुलर? द डेट अप टू 6 months फ्रॉम द एंड ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल ईयर. व्हेन डज द फाइनेंशियल ईयर एंड, चिल्ड्रन? 31st March. So what are the 6 months after 31st March? 30th September 2024. Clear is सबको? 30th September 2024, 6 months from the date of end of financial year, or the date on which the financial statements are laid before the annual general meeting. Now, what is AGM? तो हमने वही करा ही नहीं है. So when you go to the MGT chapter, Management and Administration, there you will learn that AGM is held within 6 months, within 9 months, whatever dates are given, different criteria are given for the AGM of the company. It's a full-fledged section where you learn under section 96, 97 how the AGMs are held. So let's assume that for this company, the AGM was to be held on 5th August 2024. Now, what is the validity of the circular? It says 6 months from the close of financial year, 30th September, or the date of AGM, that is 5th of August, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. So, which is earlier? 5th August. So, the circular is valid only till 5th of August. Almas, Soumya, Anubhav, everybody, Tanu, everyone has written the correct date. So, the circular is valid till 5th of August. So 6 months from the close of financial year or the date of AGM, whichever is earlier, that will be considered as the date of validity of the circular. Quickly write the first 5 points that we have, first 4 points that we have done related to circular. Number 1, the circular is in which form? DPT1. Circular will be circulated in the way of registered post, acknowledged post, electronic mode, in the English newspaper and vernacular newspaper. बन गए notes? साथ-साथ notes बना लिया करो, ठीक है? Speed post, very good. Second point, certificate from whom is required? Statutory auditor, excellent. What is to be written in this circular certificate? No default has been made. Okay, no default has been made. And if the default has been made, how many years have been passed? Very good, 5 years, good. Within how many days? It has to be filed with the registrar before the date of issue of circular. 30 days before. ये लिखा करो, within 30 days before the date of issue, ताकि आपको याद. Okay. And the 4th point is validity of the circular. Please give me 2 dates. Give me 2 dates. What is the validity of the circular? 6 months from the end of financial year or the date of AGM, whichever is earlier. Absolutely correct. 6th September. Why are you writing 6 months from the close of financial year? So 30th September will be the date, child, not 6th September. Or the date of AGM, whichever is earlier. Absolutely heard. 30 days before is a key point. Absolutely correct. That's why you will, these kind of questions come in the MCQs. They ask you. Like a question can come, default has been rectified in 5 years, this can come. And then DPT1 is the name of the form, which form is to be used for circular 1. And then they can ask you, what is the period of validity of circular? Is it 6 months from the close of financial year or the date of AGM, whichever is later, whichever is earlier, or it is the date of AGM? Such kind of MCQs can come. Very good, Miss P. OR will be passed, DPT1, all the points are absolutely correct. Kushri Mehra, excellent. Soumya, Rajveer Ray, Almas, Hard, very nice. Anubhav, Ms. Priyanka Pandey, Harshvadha, all of you, Nidhi, have written the correct. So now a fresh circular is to be issued in every succeeding financial year. Copy of this circular has to be filed within 30 days. Deposit of the sum shall not be less than 15% of the amount maturing in the financial year, and it shall be kept in a separate bank account. Provided the company has not committed any default in the repayment of deposits, and if any due for the payment of interest shall have been paid. So fresh circular is required to be issued for every time. Okay. Now, when you are accepting the deposits from the public, there are certain exemptions which are given to the private company. Here it tries to tell you that you have to provide a security. So I told you same security that which you done in debentures also, the amount of security and the repayment of interest, the amount shall always be more than the amount of deposits that you have taken. But where the company has not taken the secured deposits, it will be termed as unsecured. And when you are sending these circulars, forms, or advertisement, you shall write on it that this is related to the unsecured. Whenever you are inviting for the unsecured, it has to be written very clearly that we are not giving any security. So it should be clearly written on the circulars. Now, certain private companies are children exempted from clauses A to E. What were clauses A to E? Circular issue करना है, statutory auditor certificate copy देनी है, 30 days से पहले file करना है, whatever provisions we have just done, validity of the circular. These provisions of circular are not applicable to certain private companies. Which private companies? Let us try to understand. Point number 1, which has accepted the money from its members within the limit of 100% of paid up share capital plus free reserves plus security premium. Now, the best part of this chapter is wherever I'm going to talk about the limits, I will always be talking the limits will be of this particular thing. It will be 35% of dash dash, 25% of dash dash. What is this dash dash? It's going to be a fixed thing that is paid up share capital, free reserves, and security. First thing, you have to keep this mind clear. So if you're accepting the deposits from members within the limit of 100% of paid up share capital, free reserves, and security, let's assume your paid up share capital is 50 lakhs, free reserves is 20 lakhs, and your security premium account is 10 lakhs. So what is the total limit? 50, 70, 80, 80 lakhs. Now, if 100% of 80 lakhs kya hoga? 80 lakhs only. If the company is borrowing the deposits from the members up till 80 lakhs, then do you have to comply with clauses A to E or you don't have to comply? Tell me. Easy है ना? You don't have to comply. सबने सही आंसर दिया. मैम एक बार हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं बेटा? निधि, आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग ईच एंड एवरी पॉइंट इन हिंदी. Okay, we don't have to comply. Absolutely correct. 100% is the limit. So it will not be applicable to the private company, which is accepting 100% of the paid up share capital, free reserves, and security premium account. If you are borrowing the money, if the deposits are less than this 80 lakhs amount, then you don't have to comply with clauses A to E. Everyone is clear? If you are a startup company and you are in your 5 years from the date of incorporation, one is that your limit is 100% of paid up share capital, free reserve, and security premium, then you don't have to comply. If you are a startup company and you are in first 5 years, you don't have to follow this provision. Clear? 1 and 2 point. Now the third category of private company. Children, mind it, this exemption is only available to private companies. And we are talking about 3 different private companies which will get the exemption of the circular. Number 1, 100% of paid up share capital, free reserves, and security premium account. Number 2, if you're a startup company and you're in your first 5 years. Number 3 is a private company which is fulfilling these 3 conditions. Then only you will be exempted. Which are the 3 conditions? Number 1, you're not an associate or subsidiary of any other company. So you're a company ABC Limited, ABC Private Limited. When will you be exempted from circular provision? If you don't have any subsidiary under you and you are not a subsidiary of any other company and neither you're an associate, means you are always a parent company. You will never be a subsidiary of another company and neither you are an associate. If the borrowing of such company from banks or financial institution is twice of its paid up share capital or 50 crore. What was the paid up share capital? 50 lakhs. What is twice of paid up share capital? 50 lakhs का twice करो कितना होता है? 100 crores or 50 crores, whichever is less. 1 crore, not 100 crores. Okay? So 1 crore or 50 crore, whichever is less. What is less? 1 crore. So if your borrowing is within the limit of 1 crore, no need of circular. फर्स्ट पॉइंट है आप किसी कंपनी के एसोसिएट नहीं हो, सब्सिडरी नहीं हो. सेकेंड पॉइंट कहता है कि आपकी जो बोरोविंग्स है दे आर नॉट एक्सीडिंग ट्वाइस ऑफ द पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल ऑफ 50 करोड़ विच एवर इज लेस. सो ट्वाइस ऑफ पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल 50 लाख का ट्वाइस करा 1 करोड़ और 50 करोड़ विच एवर इज लेस 1 करोड़. सो इफ योर बोरोविंग इज लेस देन 1 करोड़, नो नीड ऑफ DPT 1 and other things. And if the company has not defaulted in the repayment of the borrowings at the time of accepting deposits. If these 3 conditions are satisfied, children, then you are not required to follow the provisions of A to E. However, the companies which are doing this red part, ये जो red वाली है ना, third category वाली company, this will still has to file DPT 3 form in the manner as specified. It will still have to give the details of the money so accepted to the registrar. DPT 3 form will have to be filed. But these pink and purple ones, they don't have to file DPT 3. फटाफट से clarity से समझते हैं, notes बनाते चलते हैं. Exemption is given to which private companies? Your turn to tell. Number one, which private company will be exempted from circular? If you are within the limit of 100% of paid up share capital plus free reserves plus security premium account. Do I need to issue the circulars and clauses A to E? No, ma'am. Clear? Second category, you are a startup company. Up till first 5 years, no need of circular and other things. Third category in itself has 3 conditions to be seen and 3 conditions देखेंगे and DPT 3 form भी file करेंगे. What are the 3 conditions? Tell me, children, what are the 3 conditions for the third private company? What are the 3 conditions? You have to tell. Speak. It is not an associate. Excellent. It is not associate or subsidiary company. पहली कंडीशन होगी. सेकेंड कंडीशन क्या है? अभी पढ़ा हमने. नो डिफॉल्ट in repayment of deposits. ठीक है, थर्ड वाली. सेकंड क्या थी? borrowings do not exceed twice of paid up share capital or 50 crores, whichever is less or more. Whichever is less. Whichever is less. जल्दी से जो मैंने अभी शॉर्ट नोट्स बनाए हैं फटाफट से अपनी नोटबुक में लिख लो. You'll never forget. Okay, just write it. Exemption to private company from provisions of, but you will not write down in such short forms in exams. Okay, you will learn everything and write. This is only for explaining. In exams, you will have to write full-fledged statements. Clear? Everyone is clear on this point. Can I delete it? Tell me. Are you done? Okay, take 1 minute, write it down. Okay, are you done? Shall we proceed ahead? So now this is the points A to E, and then we have done exemption to private companies. Every deposit has to be repaid with an interest. Very simple. Every time you do an FD with the bank will give you interest. Here also you're giving the deposit to the company will give you the interest. Where the company fails to repay the deposit or the interest, where will the depositor go? Depositor will go to the tribunal and directing the company to pay the loss and damage which has happened. So tribunal is the court which is set up for the companies. The company's court is the tribunal. So if you have not repaid their amount, then if your amount of deposit is not repaid, they will go and file a case against you with the tribunal. Now, deposit repayment reserve has to be created. What kind of reserve we were creating in the previous chapter for debentures? Priyanshi, leave that 15% point. We will do it when we go to the study material, okay? Dhanuj, you also leave that point number E. We will do it in detail from the study material. Yes, Harsh. All the 3 points, Harsh, all the 3 points have to be fulfilled for the third category. Debenture redemption reserve, absolutely correct. So their debenture redemption reserve was created when you have to redeem the debentures. Deposit repayment reserve. A reserve will be made where you will be depositing the money which will be exclusively used for repayment of the deposits. Maximum amount of deposit. Again, this whole provision of deposit repayment reserve we will cover from the study material. It shall not be used for any other purpose other than repayment of deposits. Okay, this DRR again is to be used only for repaying the deposits. What is the maximum amount of deposits that we can take from the members? That is 35% of the aggregate of the paid up share capital, free reserves and security. So maximum of 35% of the paid up share capital. So in a previous example, paid up share capital was 50 lakhs. Free reserves kitne the? 20 lakhs. And security premium tha 10 lakhs. So 80 lakhs is the limit. What will be the limit? 35% of 80 lakhs. Jaldi karke batao mujhe kitna ho? 35% of 80 lakhs. 28 lakhs. So you cannot borrow more than 28 lakhs. This is the limit of the company. 35% is the maximum limit up till which you can borrow the deposits from the members. However, a specified IFSC public company and a private company can accept the deposits exceeding 100% of the limit. And if they have given this limit in DPT 3. So there is again exemption. So this chapter is very interesting. It tells you something and then it gives you an exemption. वैसे तो ये कर लेना लॉ में, बट इनको एग्जेम्प्ट कर. किसको एग्जेम्प्ट करा? आईएफएससी पब्लिक कंपनी. ये एक स्पेशल टाइप की कंपनी होती है जिसको काफी तरह के एग्जेम्पशंस दिए जाते हैं. We'll read the definition of IFSC public company from the study material. But what is important for you to remember, you don't have to learn the definition. You just need to know that exemption is given to IFSC public company and certain private companies. They can accept the deposits more than 100% of the aggregate paid up capital, free reserves and security. उनके ऊपर कोई भी 35% की लिमिट नहीं. So what is the limit? Maximum 35%, but IFSC public company and private company may accept it deposits more than 100%. So the maximum limit in respect of the deposits will not apply to private companies. Again, there is another category of private companies which we have just read some time back. So these private companies, पहले सुनना आराम से, okay? ध्यान से सुनना, फिर मैं आपको briefly summary में दोबारा समझाऊँ. It's very normal to get confused. Everybody gets confused when they do it for the first time, so it's normal. But you have to pay attention what we are doing. 35% is the limit for the public companies. Private companies, certain private companies are exempt. They can have limit of exceeding 100%. But maximum limit of deposit to be accepted shall not apply to a private company which is a startup private company for the first 10 years. तो अगर आप ऐसी प्राइवेट कंपनी हो जो फर्स्ट 10 years of from the date of incorporation में स्टार्टअप है, उसको अप्लाई ही नहीं होती है. So many exemptions are given to private companies in this chapter. So private company feel free to accept the deposits from the members. There is no limit of maximum limit because you're a private company. You hardly can go to the public. So for the first 10 years, keep on taking the deposit. There is no maximum limit provision applicable. And a private company which fulfill these three conditions. Which are these three conditions? Same three conditions that you did in the circular. You are not an associate or subsidiary. Your borrowing is less than twice of the paid up share capital 50 crore, whichever is less, and you have not defaulted in any of the repayment of the deposits, then you will not be required to follow the provisions of the maximum of deposits. Provided all such companies will have to file with the registrar a form DPT3. All right. Is that clear to everyone? So let's have a quick recap. Circular will be issued. All these details. Point number E we will cover from the module. Okay. Exemption to private companies. Point number A to E is not applicable to three private companies. You've already written the note. Repayment with interest, not repaid. You go to the tribunal. Deposit repayment reserve has to be created. Maximum amount of deposit, 35% of the aggregate paid up capital, free reserves and security premium account. Who is exempted? Who can have more than 100%? IFSC public company and private company may accept the monies not exceeding 100% of the paid up capital. So for them, the limit is 100% of the paid up share capital, free reserves and security premium. But there is no limit for such private companies which are in their 10 years of incorporation and private company which fulfill three conditions. So I have made a soft summary for all of you. So 35% is the limit for normal companies, means any public companies, okay, which are not falling under these categories. So acceptance of deposit 35%. 100% is the limit for private companies and specified IFSC public companies. No limit for the startup companies for 10 years and private company which satisfy three conditions. It is nowhere written. You can make it out in your notes, write down this provision so that it becomes very, very easy for you to remember. And clear ho gaya sabko? Let me take you to the module and show you about these provisions. So who is a depositor? Any member or any person means public. They can be the depositors. What is an eligible company? Eligible company means a company is a public company which can take the deposits under section 76. So basically this provision of eligible companies definition is respectively for section 76. But since it is written here, let me just have a quick reading. A company which is having a net worth of not less than 100 crores means more than or equal to 100 crores and whose turnover is more than or equal to 500 crores and it has taken a prior consent by way of SR from the members for accepting the deposits from the public. So only the eligible public company is a company which can go to the public under section 76 for asking money from the public. What is the criteria to be met? Net worth shall be more than equal to 100 crores or the turnover is more than equal to 500 crores and you have filed an SR where you will be asking the members to pass a special resolution, then only you can take the deposits from the public. Eligible company accepting the deposits within the limit of section 180 subsection 1 subsection C. What is the limit of 180 subsection 1 subsection C? Now this section 180 is actually part of your CA final streams because there you will be doing this particular section. But here it is specific limit is mentioned, which is the limit of 100% of the paid up share capital plus free reserves plus security premium account. This limit is given in your chapter of debentures also. If you are accepting the deposits within the limit of this 180 subsection 1 subsection C, then you can basically pass an ordinary resolution. But if you are accepting the deposits of more than this limit, then special resolution is required. Yeah. So accordingly, it's a public company which have a minimum 100 crore or more or turnover of 500 crore more. It has to obtain a prior consent by special resolution, which has to be filed with the registrar. Then only it can take the deposits from the public. Otherwise, if your limit is within 180 subsection 1 subsection C, then ordinary resolution is sufficient. After that, we have done all these prohibitive provisions. We have done exempted companies are given over here. What happened? So, Anubhav, IFSC public company is given in your module. Let me just so these are the exempted companies, means banking companies are free to accept the deposits. There is no restriction on them. They're not required to follow this provision. Passing of a special resolution is required or ordinary resolution. When you're accepting deposit from the members, you'll be passing SR or OR. I just taught you right now from my presentation. You'll pass SR or OR. Absolutely correct. OR. Good. Circular, again, all the provisions of circular DPT 1, whatever we have done from my presentation, same points. So this example I'll be doing after the break. So this is your deposit repayment reserve, which will be covering what's happening here. So deposit repayment reserve will be covering here. So I give you a small break over here. Just go through all the points. Circular wala point पढ़ लो एक बारी module में से भी. Exempted private companies पढ़ लो and the maximum limit of deposits. Just read these points and then we'll continue after the break. Let's take a small break. Students, welcome back. I hope you have read the provision and no more doubts so that we can proceed further. Let's try to understand now deposit repayment reserve account. In deposit definition, capital goods जो supplier supply करता है. Yes, Asta Sethi, you simply have to remember कि long-term project and capital goods can be any type of goods which you are supplying. It can be in the dealer dealing also, that's fine. Okay. All right. So deposit repayment reserve, what we are trying to create. So you will be depositing at least 20% of the amount of deposits maturing in the financial year, which is in the next financial year. You remember about the debenture redemption reserve? How much amount we were creating over there? There we were depositing 15% of the amount. Here, how much you have to deposit? So the deposits which are maturing in the next financial year, let's assume there are 50 lakhs deposits which are maturing in 2026. So how much amount shall be deposited in the deposit repayment reserve? 20% of 50 lakhs. Kitna hoga? 10 lakh amount has to be deposited in the deposit repayment reserve. And this amount shall be kept in a scheduled bank in a separate bank account, and it is only to be used for repayment of deposits. Every company referred under section 73 and every eligible company before 30th day of April shall deposit this amount, and it will not be used for any other purpose other than repayment of deposits. If the company says that, okay, this 10%, 20%, 10 lakh that I have deposited, I will use it for buying more assets for my company. Can the company do that? No, it is not allowed. It's strictly prohibited. You can only use this amount for repaying the deposits. And once you start repaying the deposits, now you have deposited this 10 lakh in the deposit repayment reserve. So you repaid the deposit of Mr. A, 3 lakhs, Mr. B, 4 lakhs. Let's assume there were previous deposits also, 20 lakhs. So 30 lakh balance you have now, and which you are paying to A, 10 lakhs, B, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs. So it law says whenever you are doing these repayments, make sure that the balance shall not fall below 20% of the amounts maturing in this financial year. So let's assume that the amounts maturing in this financial year is 40 lakh. What is 20% of 40 lakh rupees? 8 lakh rupees. So the amount of balance after repaying all the depositors shall not fall below 8 lakhs. So if there are any less amounts, you can proportionately pay them or you can pay them in the next year. But the minimum balance that you have to maintain will be 8 lakhs. One provision says that 10 lakh, which is 20%, has to be deposited in DRR. And now whatever balance has come up, minimum balance of 8 lakh, that is 20% of the deposits maturing in the current year, has to be maintained. Clear ho gaya now deposit repayment reserve, similar to DDR that we have done. Certification of no default in repayment, we have already discussed. Statutory auditor will give us the certificate that you have not defaulted. These are the exemption of private companies. We have already discussed. Exceeding 100% is allowed. Startup for 5 years. And if you are fulfilling these 3 conditions, then you are only required to give the 3. Then you're not required to follow the circular provisions. And here is the definition given of IFSC public company. It tells you that IFSC public company can also accept the deposits not exceeding 100%. So 100% limit has been given to specific IFSC public. Regarding the provision of securities, we have already discussed the amount of assets shall be more than the amount of deposits. Application to NCLT when will be made? When the repayment is not paid, then the depositor, angry depositor, will go to tribunal, filing a case. Amount will be utilized for buying the assets. The deposit repayment reserve, I can use it for buying the assets of the company or for doing business. What can I use it? Let me see who all are sleeping in the class. So everybody answered no, ma'am. It is only used for repaying the deposit. So well done. Soumya, what you have not understood in DRR? DRR simply tells you that 20% of the amount maturing in the next year, you will put it in that separate bank account. Now, whatever balance that you have in DRR, that amount, when you are using for repaying the deposits, it should not fall. The balance should not go below the 20% of the current maturing figure. Okay, so if you correlate with the 50 lakhs and 40 lakhs example that I've explained, you will be able to understand. Yes, what you have not understood, Khushi Mishra, in point number 6, ask me what you have not understood. Partial security is full security or unsecured? So I told you if you're partially securing, it will be considered unsecured, and the word unsecured shall be written on every circular. Where you're not giving any security, this word unsecured should be quoted on the circular which is issued to the members. Now, example number 5, tenure of the deposits. I wanted to do example 4 also. First, let's do example 4. Ray Pharmaceuticals issued a circular inviting deposits from the members. AGM was to be held on 7th September and the circular was issued on 14th February. What is the date of validity of circular? Tell me. What will be the date of validity? It was issued on 14th February. AGM was to be held on 7th September. 6 months from the closure is 30th September. So 30th September or 7th September, the circular will be valid till what date, children? All those who say 7th September, why? Because whichever is earlier is the date to be taken. Now, what is the tenure of the deposits? Very, very easy and very interesting. Deposits shall not be taken for less than 6 months time period and not to be taken for more than 36 months. So what is the tenure? Minimum 6 months के लिए आप deposit लोगे and maximum for 36 months. So minimum tenure is 6 months and the maximum period of deposits will be 36 months. Example 5. Arpit, a member of Swapnil Traders Private Limited, deposited 1 lakh with his company. So he's a member and this is a private company. Private company can take the deposits from members. So कोई problem नहीं है, ले लिया. Earliest the repayment date was 30th September and the latest repayment date will be 31st March 2027. So can you repay it? So you have taken the deposit on 1st April 2024. The question to the class is, can I repay this deposit on 31st May 24? No, ma'am. Why no? Because it has to be kept for minimum period of 6 months. That is 30th September 2024 से पहले ये repay नहीं हो सकता. And what is the maximum date, latest date for repayment? Can I repay it in 2028? No, ma'am, it has to be repaid in 36 months. Clear, everyone? However, there is an exception. I told you this full chapter is full of exemptions and exceptions. Again, exception for 6 months time period. फिर से वो कह रहा है कि 6 months से कम दे दो, but जिसको भी दोगे minimum 3 months time period देना पड़ेगा. I will explain you this provision in Hindi and English both. ध्यान से सुनिए. वो कह रहा है कि अगर आपने minimum 6 months देना है, अगर आप 6 months से कम देना चाहते हो तो 3 months कम से कम होना चाहिए. किन कंपनीज को? जिनका 10% ऑफ द एग्रीगेट पेड अप कैपिटल फ्री रिजर्व एंड सिक्योरिटी प्रीमियम है एंड 3 months का टाइम पीरियड आप दे सकते. So which are the companies which will accept less than 6 months time period? Number 1, if the deposit is within the limit of 10% of the paid up share capital, free reserve and security premium, and the deposit is repayable in on or after 3 months, minimum 3 months if you are maintaining, then yes, you can have less than 6 months time period. So it is assumed that the aggregate paid up share capital security premium is 2 crore. 2 crore है ना? In order to meet the short-term requirement, it can raise the deposits maximum, that is 20 lakh. 10% of 2 crore is 20 lakh. And the repayment can be done in less than 6 months, but not less than 3 months. So here you have to see that the short-term deposits which are accepted are repaid only after 3 months. So let's take same example. On 1st April 2024, this person of the Swapnal company has given the deposit to the company of 50 lakh rupees. Now this 50 lakh shall be repaid in 6 months or 3 months time period. Very good, Anubhav. Baki, Priyanka wrong. Almas correct. Baki kya kar rahe hain? What are this thinking? Where are you children? You're not responding. 6 months time period or 3 months? 6 months, common sense. I told you, they have written it clearly that only ma'am 20 lakh tak agar aap lenge 10% of the limit, then only you can repay it with 3 months time period. But I have changed the limit. I said 50 lakh deposit. So you will only repay it after 6 months. Now let's take the example. Okay, I have taken 15 lakhs. It is within the limit of 10%. Now I can repay in. Ma'am, what is the total aggregate? Dhanush, can you see example number 6? It is clearly written the total aggregate is 2 crore. We are doing it from the same example. Okay. Everybody has given the correct answer. Yes, ma'am. Now it is 3 months. So can I repay this 1st April loan on 30th May 2024? सभी लोग यस मैम. हाँ 3 months minimum कब होंगे? April, May, June. I cannot repay it before 30th June. Very good, Soumya, Sunil, Anushka, Anubhav, all those who have written no is the correct answer. Understood? Very good, Mr. Dhanush. No, because it's not completing 3 months. Very right. So now children, you have understood. So हर line में, हर topic में clarity के लिए example सोचा करो. Think about what can be the situation and accordingly you should be able to answer the every question. Clear? Now, maximum amount of deposit from the members. So here is your lovingly IFSC public company, which has been defined. I told you the definition is given over here. So it simply tells you IFSC public company is an unlisted public company. It is not on the listed portfolio. It is licensed to be operated by Reserve Bank of India or SEBI or the insurance regulatory. And it is for the approved multi-services special economic zone. Many benefits are given to SEZ units. So it is a kind of a company which is operating under the special economic zone. So various exemptions are given to IFSC public company. So you don't need to learn what is IFSC public company, but yes, you do need to learn what are the exemptions given. So maximum amount of deposits that we can take, we have already done. Specified IFSC and other private company, at least 100% of the limit. Normal companies, 35%. And these 5 years, 10 years startup and the fulfilling of the 5 to 3 conditions, they are no limit has been set. But they need to deposit with the registrar DPT 3 form. Do you want to see the forms before we proceed ahead? I'll give you 2 minutes, analyze DPT1 form. This is your DPT1. What's wrong with this? Why it is? I hope it's visible, children, to all of you. DPT1 form is visible. Circular in the form of advertisement, section 73(2) and section 76 to be followed when accepting deposits from the members and from the public. General information will be given. This is a circular which is circulated in the form of advertisement. Name, address will be given, date of incorporation, business. I told you all the details about the company. What is the date of passing the board resolution, passing the OR of the resolution. So board will also permit that you can take the deposits. OR will be passed. What are the type of deposits, whether it is secured or unsecured? Amount to be raised by deposits. What are the terms for raising? How much time period? What's the rate of interest? What is the time schedule within which the deposits will be taken? Objections or reasons for raising the deposits. Credit ratings shall be obtained. So you will give the name of credit rating agency. For example, Presel has given you the rating. What is the rating to be given and on what date you have taken the rating? Deposit insurance. Sometimes you also take the insurance for these deposits. Any details about the outstanding deposits, how much deposits are outstanding, what is the date of acceptance, all these details. And I told you very important information is given in the circular, that is the financial position of the company, summary of all the financial position, 3 years audited balance sheet, dividends declared. Because you're taking money from the members, they are interested to know how you're progressing in your company. And declaration will be given by the directors that we have not defaulted in the repayment, and the directors have satisfied related to the affairs and prospectus. All these details have to be given. Deposits will be used only as per the purpose given in the circular. Deposit accepted in the aggregate amount shall be unsecured and rank pari passu. So whatever deposits have you taken unsecured, unsecured date will be given. All that, okay? Company has complied with the provisions, all the rules, deposit expenses had to be repaid. What is the rate of interest? All these minute details will be given in DPT 1. You want to see DPT 3 also? DPT 3 is basically a return of deposit which has to be filed as per Rule 16. So any company which is availing the exemption has to make sure that they have filed this return of investment. It has SIN number, your GLN number, name of the company, whether the company is a public company or private company, both the companies will have to file DPT 3. Whether the company is a government company, that also has to tell. I will tell you in the further chapter what are the provisions for government company also. What are the objectives of the company? What is the date of circular, date of closing of accounts? Net worth has to be shared, because only if the net worth is more than equal to 100 crore, then only the eligible private company can go. Paid up share capital, free reserves. Here you're giving all the details, max amount of deposits. So for government company, the limit is 25%. 25% in the case of government company and 25% in other cases. This is the provision that we'll be covering under section 76. Okay, so again, details of outstanding deposits, everything will be given. So this DPT 3 is more like a return that you're giving, what all deposits you have taken, what is the auditor certificate, insurance, trust deed, सब कुछ आप साथ में देंगे, attach करेंगे. It has to be filed with the RC. Okay. Now, eligible public company, we have already done the definition from the book. So now let's move to section 76. When you're taking the deposits from the public, what needs to be passed? SR needs to be passed only if your limit is more than 180 subsection 1 subsection C. If you are taking the deposits within the limit of 180 subsection 1 subsection C, then you will pass OR or SR. Then OR is required. Very good. Obtaining the credit rating. So eligible public company which is taking the deposits from the public will have to take the credit rating from the agency. Why? Because we have to provide adequate safety to the public. Public shall be sure that this company will return back our money. They will repay our deposits. So the rating has to be given every year during the tenure of the deposit. So whenever you have taken the deposits, the rating has to be taken. The credit rating has to be taken every year. Now here, what is the maximum amount of deposits in case of eligible government company? If you're a government company, then deposits together with your outstanding deposits shall not exceed 35% of the aggregate paid up share capital, free reserves and security. Children, is this provision the same that you have done under section 73? Member से भी जब हम ले रहे थे तो maximum कितना था? 73%. अगर आप एलिजिबल गवर्नमेंट कंपनी हो एंड पब्लिक कंपनी हो, अगर आप पब्लिक से ले रहे हो तब भी लिमिट क्या है? 35%. एवरीबडी इज क्लियर फ्रॉम हियर? Maximum amount of deposits eligible company can take from its members not more than 10% of the aggregate of the paid up capital, free reserves and security payment. Now government company limit is same, 35%. But any other public company, from members, they can take 10%. But from any other person other than the members, they can take maximum 25%. So the public company will take from the members, they can take 10%. And from the public, they can take maximum 25%. All right. Circular again will be issued in the same form. Same provisions related to the circular have been given. That is DPT1 form will be issued. Circular will be given in the vernacular newspaper. Both the newspapers will be widely circulated. 30 days, same provision. I told you, section 76, when you do with me, you will think that ma'am is repeating everything because it is a replication of section 70. इस चैप्टर में कुछ नहीं पढ़ना है, सिर्फ दो चीजें अगर आपने लर्न करी ना, डेफिनेशन ऑफ डिपॉजिट्स में 16 आइटम्स और सेक्शन 73 अगर आपने लर्न कर लिया, 80% of the chapter is complete. The rest is all repetition. So here the only difference point was कि members से आपने 10% ले रहे हो, other than members से 25%. बाकी सब सेम है. 30 days पहले आपने करना है. Validity भी same है, 6 months or date of AGM. You have already done this. Fresh advertisement has to be given every year. You already know that. आगे देख लेते हैं. डिपॉजिट रीपेमेंट रिजर्व अभी करा आपने मेरे साथ मैम. 20% वी विल बी डिपॉजिटिंग बिफोर 30th April. दिस अमाउंट शैल नॉट फॉल बिलो 20% ऑफ द अमाउंट्स मैच्योरिंग करंट ईयर. टेन्योर सेम है, 6 months, 36 months. Deposits can be created on the assets, whatever evaluation that you're creating on the asset security. It has to be a charge which is creating registered value or will do the valuation. Same points that we did in debentures. Now comes your interesting point, appointment of trustee for the deposits. So trustee appoint करना बहुत ज़्यादा जरूरी है. You need to appoint the trustee for the depositors. You appointed trustees in case of debentures. Did we appoint the trustee for debentures, children? Do you remember this word, hearing trustee from me earlier also? Who is a trustee? Who is a trustee? Tell me. You have already done it with me. A trustee will be appointed who will be taking care of the security that has been given by the company. A guard, very good. He's working as a guardian. He's taking care that the security which the company has provided for the deposits, the company is not going to resell that security. The value is maintained intact, security that you have given, because you've taken money from the depositors, na, public and members se paisa liye. So a trustee will take care of the security that you have provided. A written consent has to be taken from the trustee. A statement will appear in the newspaper with the reasonable prominence that the trustee has given their consent. So number one, consent has to be taken, and this consent will be given in the newspaper that they are ready to act as a trustee. And in which form number you will sign the deposit trust deed? DPT2 form will be used for executing a deposit trust deed. Yes, very good, Soumya. He is looking after the deposits and the securities. Okay. So here, the deposit trust deed is created in form number DPT2. At least 7 days before the circular, DPT2 has to be filed. No person, including a company in the business of trusteeship, now who will be appointed as a trustee. So how do we learn who is appointed as a trustee? Remember, in case of debentures also, children, you did the same provision of trustee. Debentures की security का देखभाल करता है. फिर वो 7 points थे. How you are disqualified for not being appointed as a trustee. आप कोई भी कंपनी के रिश्तेदार नहीं होने चाहिए, रिलेटिव नहीं होने चाहिए, key managerial personnel directors. If you are, then you cannot be the trustee. Same provisions over here also. Very good, Soumya, Rajveer, Ray, Anubhav, excellent. Similar categories you have, that who shall not be the trustee. Number one, he shall not be the director, KMP, or any other officer or relative of these people. He shall not be indebted. He shall not have any pecuniary relationship. Here he has not defined the pecuniary relationship. Here we did that relationship of 5 crores and less. Pecuniary relationship means monetary relationship. कोई भी पैसे की relationship नहीं होनी चाहिए company की trustee के साथ. He should not be giving any guarantee for the repayment of the debts. And can we remove the trustee? Yes, if all the directors consent, we can remove. If the company is required to have independent director, at least one independent director shall be present. So this provision was not there in debentures. There, majority of the directors were consented. And the casual vacancy, 3/4 of the value. Remember, removal of the directors, 3/4. And if it was to be removed, majority of the directors. Here, consent of all the directors is required if you want to remove the trustee of the depository payments. And also independent director, if the company is having, he shall also be present. Meetings of the depositors has to be held on a requisition, at least 1/10 of the depositors if they call. Same provision, meeting of the debenture holders. आप section 71, 72 खोले ना, same आपको दिखेगा सब कुछ. 73 and 76 के common points है 1/10 of the depositors if they say we will call the meeting. What is the meaning of CO motto? Can the trustee call the meeting on his own? Yes, if he feels any kind of doubt, then on his own also, if he is of the opinion in order to protect the interest of depositors, he can also call the meeting. Now the following particulars have to be entered. A register of deposits will be maintained. You will be maintaining a copy of separate registers for all the deposits. I just now showed you all the name, address, guardian, nominee, everything has to be maintained. How much security has been given, how much deposits have been raised, what is the latest date of deposits, rate of interest, everything has to be maintained in a proper register of deposits. And when do we need to make the entries? MCQ can come. Within 7 days from the date of issue of deposit receipt, the entry shall be made in the register. आपने register लगाया deposit का, कब entry करनी है deposit of register में? Within 7 days of the deposit receipt is issued, you shall make the entry. And this register will be preserved for a period not less than 8 weeks. So for how long you have to preserve this register? For a period of 8 weeks. Premature deposits. Can you premature the deposits before 6 months? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Look at them. Can we premature the deposits before 6 months? Yes, ma'am, we can do, but it shall not be less than 3 months and only if the limit was 10% of the paid up share capital, free reserve and security deposit, then we can do. The rate of interest shall be 1% less than the rate provided. If you are prematuring the deposits, then the rate of interest will be 1% less than the rate which was to be provided. Rate of interest is not applicable in the following cases. Premature deposit, in order to reduce the total number of deposit, if you are trying to bring the limit down, then there is not applicable of reduction of rate of interest. Or if there is any war kind of situation, a fight has started between the countries, then also you will not reduce the rate of interest. Simply he is trying to tell you that अगर आप 6 महीने से पहले repay कर रहे हो ना deposits, तो whatever is the rate of interest उससे 1% कम कर. 2 केसेस में रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट मत कम करना. अगर वॉर हो गया है इस वजह से लिमिट कम हो रही है, या फिर आपकी स्टैट्यूटरी रिक्वायरमेंट मीट करने के लिए लिमिट कम करके डिपॉजिट रीपे कर रहे हो, तब रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट कम मत करना. एक तो आप अपनी कंपनी की रिक्वायरमेंट की वजह से कम कर रहे हो और उनको नुकसान नहीं कर सकते. Premature closing of interest of rate of interest. In case the depositor wants to avail higher rate of interest by renewing it before maturity, company will pay higher rate only if the renewed deposit is for the period longer than the unexpired period. So simply it depends upon the what kind of provisions you have handled with the deposit. Now ceiling on the rate of interest or brokerage. So brokerage are the people who are helping you to get the deposits. So here the maximum rate which has been given, it shall be the maximum rate prescribed by the RBI. You cannot give the brokerage more than the rate prescribed by the RBI. Okay, so this is very, very simple. You can just give it a reading. Joint names, you can take the deposits in the joint names, but can we have the joint names depositor 4? How many depositors we can have in joint names? We did this in the previous class. Tanu, Kirti, Almas, Miss P, everybody remembers. Soumya, Rajveer. 3 is the correct answer. Well done. So you have to file DPT3 form on and before 30th June. I just showed you DPT3 form. Within 21 days, you have to file the deposit receipt also has to be furnished. Every depositor will nominate a person also, like in FD, you nominate a person. Similarly, when you are taking a deposit with the company, you need to nominate a person. Now, these are very, very simple provisions. Penal rate of interest will be charged at the rate of 18% per annum. If the case company fails to repay the deposits, both the secured and unsecured, then a penalty of the rate of interest at the rate of rupees 18% shall be paid. Punishments for the contravention. If any eligible public company, who is an eligible public company? Tell me. Answer me in the chat box. What are the provisions of eligible public company? Everybody is going to answer it. Who is an eligible public company? Everybody is. IFSC Public is an eligible public company. Tanu, what are you writing? You have to give me the provisions of the eligible public company. Absolutely correct, Anubhav. Very good. Miss P. Everybody has to write the limits, net worth and turnover. Everybody, I'm waiting for your answers. I've asked what is the limit set for the eligible public company. Soumya, Harshada, Almas, Rajveer, Mr. Bhavya, absolutely correct. 100 is for turnover net worth. Kushi Mehra, proper limits you have to write. Yes, it is or net worth, not less than 100 crore or turnover. It is not and, children. You all are writing and. Check your books. Is it written and or? It is or. Please check it up. Hurry up. Everybody has given the correct definition. So why do we need to define eligible public company? होती क्या eligible public company? हमने limits तो बता दी. Can eligible company take the deposits from only members? What do you need? Why do you need the definition of eligible public company? What is the difference? Tell me. Because the eligible public company can take the deposits from members as well as from public. Okay, good. Let's proceed ahead. So if the eligible public company contravenes the provisions, means now if you are inviting the deposits and you are not repaying the deposits on time, or you have exceeded the limit of 35%, then a penalty fine of 5,000 rupees, which can extend to maximum 500 per day during which the contravention continues. So this is the contravention penalty, which is given under section 73 and 76, that if any company makes a default, maximum fine of 5,000 rupees and a 500 per day default will be charged if you have contravened the provisions. Now, if the company invites and accepts the deposits in contravention of the provisions of section 73 and 76, then a company will, in addition to the amount of deposit, a fine of not less than 1 crore rupees or twice the amount of deposit accepted, whichever is less, and it can extend to maximum of 10 crore rupees. Now, this fine of section 76A is very, very important. So this is the basic major fine that you have, punishment for contravention of penalty. In the previous one, it is saying only related to that rate of interest. If you are doing this punishment, if you are depositing, deposit rules are not being followed, rate of interest is not being taken care of, then any particular fine they are talking about. Here it is talking about company invites the deposits or causes any other person in contravention of the manner given under section 73 and 76. So very harsh punishment is given. A deposit, the company will have a fine of not less than 1 crore or twice the amount of deposits. Okay? Sorry. Whichever is lower, and the maximum fine can extend up till rupees 10 crore. And every officer who is in default shall be liable of fine not less than 25 lakhs, which can maximum extend to 2 crores. Okay, and if anyone has done with intention to deceive the company, a fine under section 447 will also be charged. So you have to be very, very careful when you are dealing in such kind of deposits, because there can be a harsh penalty and punishment if you try to contravene any of the provisions of the Companies Act or the rules. Let us quickly see it from here also. This is your depositors. The trustees will call the meeting of the depositors when on the requisition received by 3/4 of the value, 1/10, 100. What was the provision? When will the trustees call the meeting of depositors? On the consent of, excellent, 1/10. Almas, very good. Tanu, very good. 1/10 of the value of depositors, then we will take it. Ceiling on the rate of interest, we have read all this. Deposits in joint name, please make sure that you can only have not exceeding 3. Everybody remembers now that you cannot have the depositors more than 3. Deposit receipt, within how many days the deposit receipt? Within 21 days from the date of deposit receipt, your company is required to furnish it to the depositor or his agent. Within 21 days you have received. Within 7 days, you make the entry in the register of deposits and the receipt has to be issued within 21 days. So, दोनों याद रखते हैं आपने 7 days भी and 21 days. So, it says same provisions for the acceptance of deposits from the public will be same. Premature is also the same provisions. Filing of return has to be done in which form, children? Filing of return will be done in which form? DPT1, DPT2, DPT3. Filing of the return of deposits is to be done in which form? DPT3. Excellent. Circular is to be issued in which form? DPT4, DPT5, DPT6 or DPT1? Yes, circular is to be issued in DPT1. Deposit, executing a deposit trust deed is to be done in which form? The trust deed will be formed in which form? My God, such an intelligent students in my class. Everybody have learned this also. Very good. So DPT2 form will be used for executing the deposit trust deed. Okay. Section 74 simply tells you it is a transitional provision that when you have filed the statements of deposits with the registrar and repayment, any deposit which has been made before 1st April 2014. So all the chapters have their transitional provisions because it was Companies Act 2013 which came into effect on 1st April 2014. So if you have accepted the deposit before these days, then at least within 3 months time period, you shall file with the registrar a statement of all the statements of deposits that you have taken and repaid within the 3 years time. So 3 years time period is given. If anyone asks you what is the transitional provisions, I'm going to ask you in the questions in a while. So remember this provision, 3 months में आपने registrar के साथ statement file करनी है and कितने देर में repay कर देना है within 3 years. So it is the same provision. Otherwise also maximum period is 3 years. Here also it is given the maximum period of 3 years. Now I give you 2 minutes just to grab the information and then we will be starting with the question answer. Okay. Just go through the chapter and pages, flip the pages once. Everything we have completed. You can see provisions of section 76. If you want, I can show you from the module also. It's entirely the same. Everything we have covered. See the same point of SR and OR 180 subsection 1, subsection C. Credit rating agency se aapne lena hai whenever you want to issue against the creation of assets. All these market value of securities, debentures wale same points likhe hoenge. Tenure kitna hoga? 6 months, maximum 36 months, only the 10% of the limit and 3 months is the exemption. Disqualification of a trustee. Issue of circular, same points, 20% of the provision which we have already done. कितना अच्छा चैप्टर लग रहा है ना, ये सब कुछ देखा देखा सेम आ रहा है सामने, बहुत अच्छा लगता है that you have already read this. It seems as if you're now this you have not read because this is a register of deposits. I've shown you in my PPT also. All these entries have to be made within how many days? Within 7 days you will make the entry in the register of deposits and it has to be filed with the RSC. It has to be kept at the place. Premature of deposits अगर आप कर रहे हो तो 1% less rate of interest हो जाएगा. Simple provisions. No right to alter the terms and conditions. Can you change the terms and conditions? You cannot change any terms and conditions on the basis of which you have done. Eligible company contravenes with the deposit rules. This is the penalty. If you're contravening all the provisions of section 73 or 76, then it is a very harsh penalty, which is extending up till 10 crore rupees, and for the officer in default, it is 25 lakhs to 2 crores. Section 74 also we have just done from my PPT right now. Power of central government to decide certain questions, nothing it is we're talking about. So here is the chapter. So very well on time, we have completed the chapter. Let's see some MCQs from here. Varsha decides to raise deposits of 20 lakh from its member. However, it proposes to secure the deposits partially by offering a security of 15 lakhs. Which is the best option that describes the deposit? Is it fully secured, unsecured, partially secured, or it is not a deposit? MCQ question number 1. What is the Tanu is the first one to answer. Anubhav, Soumya, Rehana, Almas, everybody is correct. B is the correct answer because partially secured is unsecured. What is the maximum tenure for which you can accept the members as well as public? 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, 48 months. कितना easy लग रहा है अब आपको, है ना? Yes, Miss P, for both public as well as members. C is the correct answer for the second one. Wonderful, children. Fin Limited is accepting deposits of various tenures from the members from time to time. Current register of deposits maintained at the register of office is complete. State the minimum period for which it shall be kept. Register कितने time तक maintain होगा? 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. Excellent, Priyanshi. 8 years. Good. C is the correct answer. Every year, company will pay a penal rate of interest of dash for the overdue period in case of deposits claimed but remaining unpaid. कितना rate of interest pay करेगी penalty वाला? 18%. Correct answer. Very good, children. Were you learning along with it? Huh? Should I give applause to myself? You also need to give applause to yourself because you are answering by yourself. I hope you're not cheating from the module. Minimum period is 6 months, maximum 36, not greater than 6 months. So read the question number 5 and answer it, which is the correct option for question number 5. Good, Soumya, Bhavya. Very good. So first one is the correct. 6 months, 36 months, and it cannot be later than 6 months subject to certain conditions. And if the conditions are satisfied, then what can be the minimum period? Oh, I have showed it. It will be 3 months, cannot go less than 3 months. So I hope you all have enjoyed learning and understanding the topic. And now is the time to give a test. Let's quickly have the question answers round. Thank you so much, Priyanshita. I'm so happy that you remember each and every line of law when you do it with me. I'm so glad to read this. God bless you and keep revising also. That is also. I give you 2 minutes. Try solving this question and give me the answers in the chat. Vemri, Tanu, very good answers. Rihanna, Priyanshi, Soumya, Rajveer, Bhavya, Miss Tanu, very good. Children, at least you have tried answering it. I understand it's very difficult to write the entire provision on the chat box. Anushka, excellent. So here the net worth of 80 crores and turnover of 30 crore is given. So they are trying to ask you who is the eligible public company. First of all, you will give the provisions of eligible public company as you have rightly mentioned. So such kind of companies, after they have taken the credit rating, the SR has been passed by the company, invite the deposits for every year, they have to file a fresh rating has to be taken, then only they can deposit, accept the deposits from the public. Provisions of Section 76 says that since the net worth and turnover is not meeting the prescribed limits, hence it cannot accept the deposits. And remember, children, here is the word or, it is not and. और का मतलब होता है या ये एक भी चीज दोनों में से अगर मिलती है तो आप एक्सेप्ट कर सकते. Okay, now read this question very carefully and answer it in the chat box. Everyone, I want you to answer. Miss P is asking, register comes in a section. So register of deposits is for both that you have taken from the members and public. The return that you have to file, the entry has to be made in the register, Miss P, for both of them. Okay. All of you take 2 minutes to read and answer. So it says that the company has deposit from its members to the extent of aggregate paid up share capital. The limit is given. Second is a government company which is eligible under section 76. It is again giving the limit for that. So what is your correct answer? Let me see. Miss P, okay, you've answered. Tanu says true and true for the first and second one. Almaz says true and false because government company can accept up till 35%. Here it is talking about 25%. All right. Anushka says true and false. So Rajveer has also given the answer. Very good, Priyanshi, Bhavya, Soumya, Rihana. So let us quickly go through the answers, what we have to see. The relevant provisions are applicable. A company shall accept not exceeding 35 lakh, 35%. इसमें कितने limit दिए यहाँ पे? Here he is not exceeding the limit of 100%. Therefore, the eligibility of XYZ to accept 60 lakh is true. So the first one, those who have given true, applause for you. And I think everybody has given true for the first one. Only few of you have made the mistake of saying the second also true. It is clearly written, it is a limit of 25%. Therefore, it is false because the government company is not eligible to accept if the amount exceeds the particular 35% of the aggregate. So it is very much clear this one is true and the second one is false. Now, why I have given you an or question written over there? Because just to explain you that the question can come in this way or this way. So in both the cases, you have to apply the same. Now, what is the procedure to be followed for the acceptance of members? Agar aisa question aa jaye, to which section you will be referring? If you get such a question, which section you will be referring, children? Section 73 or 76? 73 subsection 2. Very good. Excellent. So again, that all the provisions of deposit, appointment of trustee for deposits. So such kind of direct questions can also come. Then also you'll be able to answer it. Okay, let me see if we have another question for you. For the credit rating, yes, this one question I wanted to do with all of you. The provisions related to the credit rating, if it want to raise the public deposits, then you will write down that the company shall obtain the credit rating under section 76. Eligible company which wants to raise the public deposits has to obtain the rating because its net worth, liquidity, and ability to pay shall be from the recognized agency. So you have to tell them that we have this kind of liquidity. I will be able to repay my deposits. We have to take this validity from a credit rating agency. The rating shall be obtained every year, and as per the rule of copy of the credit rating has to be filed at least once in a year, shall be sent with the ROC along with the return of deposits. The credit rating below the minimum investment grading for fixed deposits, it can be obtained from non-banking financial companies or any other accepted deposits. All right. So these are the kind of questions which you should learn from the module so that you're able to attempt and do the answers. Now, I think we have done almost most of the questions we have covered related to the chapter. Any other doubts you have, children? Because we are done with the syllabus. So I'm very happy. Well, within time, we have completed the syllabus. Acceptance of deposits, you have understood. The rate of interest, Anubhav is asking, is 18%. So it is trying to tell you that it is the penal rate of interest. Okay, it is trying to charge the penal rate of interest where it is mentioning that if you make any kind of default, then a penal rate of interest will be charged. Show you. Every company shall pay a penal rate of interest 18% for the overdue period in case of the deposit. So if you have not paid the deposits on time, then 18% rate of interest will be. Is that clear? All right. Okay, Anubhav, Anushka, everybody says, ma'am, it's crystal clear, no doubt. Let me see if we can do certain MCQs. I'll just try to find out MCQs also for you. Okay. Okay, let's do some MCQs also. Yes, that's great, Priyanshi. It's a very chapter is very simple, but it has a lot of limits. So quickly try solving this MCQ, children. Everyone has to. Everyone has given the correct answer. Wonderful, children. So Bhumi Real Estate has accepted the deposits. The payment has been made. The statutory amount to be deposited by the company on or before 30th April. How much is the amount to be deposited? Not less than 20% of the amount deposits maturing during the financial year. All those who have given C, it is the correct answer. Well done. So it says, as per section 73, subsection 2, company is required to deposit on or before 30th April at least 20% of the amounts matured. Let's try doing this one also. Everyone. Ruchita wants to renew her deposits before the original period for availing high rate of interest. The fresh period for which Ruchita is required to renew her deposits to be eligible for the higher rate is 1.5 times the unexpired period, double the unexpired period, 6 months more in addition to the unexpired period, longer than the unexpired period. What will be the correct answer? Very good, Soumya. Well tried. So it will be longer than the period in case we wants to avail higher rate of interest. This is the last topic that we did somewhere. It was written in very small words that if you want to avail higher rate of interest, company will have to allow only if the depositor waits for the longer period than the unexpired period of deposits. Okay. So such kind of small provisions also you should read very nicely from the chapter so that you have not left out anything. No deposits are repayable earlier than dash from the date of removal from such renewal. 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 1 year. This one is very, very simple. B is the correct answer. 6 months, a company is not permitted to accept or renew the deposits before the period of 6 months. Let's do one more. So this is the last MCQ. Everybody is going to read it and try solving it quickly. So I would want everyone to read this one and solve. Sorry, students, just disappeared. I hope it's visible. Dream World Limited has accepted the deposits of 50 lakhs on 1st April 2019 for 24 months. So we can expect 24 months, 6 months to 36 months. में कोई भी time period के नहीं Repayments would be made from 31st March 2021. The rate of interest was 9%. One of the depositor requested on 1st June 2020. So he has requested for the premature deposits repayment for 6 lakhs along with interest. I told you if you are expecting for the premature deposit, then the rate of interest 1% less will be charged. Remember? So very clear that first and second provision is nowhere around us because first one is saying within the limits, hence the company cannot be. ये तो है ही नहीं. Second 9% वाला तो है ही नहीं. Now the question arises between the third and fourth. Company can prematurely pay with the rate of interest 8% per annum for the period 12 months or 14 months. So how many months we have to make the payment? Starting from 1st April till 31st May, na 1st June, if you're withdrawing, so you'll pay for 12 months or 14 months? Tell me, logically tell me. Definitely 14 months. All right. So the correct answer is part D. That is for the 14 months you have to see it. 1% is there. All right. So well done, students. So we have covered the chapter and very well you have answered all the MCQs also. So that's great. So ma'am is also here. Welcome back, ma'am. Okay, I'll give you the co-host rights. I hope no more doubts, children. Everybody's doubts is solved. All right, great, good.
So, ma'am, is the chapter over?
Yes, ma'am, the chapter is over and students have very well answered the MCQs also, and we did few descriptive questions also.
Okay. So, students, do you have any query for the BOS? So, ma'am, you have made... Good evening, Anubhav. So, I think ma'am has explained the chapter so well to you. Very good, Anubhav. So, ma'am has explained the chapter so well to you that you students don't have any query. So, ma'am, once you are done with the task, do let me know. Okay, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
MCQ portal is not working properly. What happened, Rajveer? Just give me a message. Good, Dhanush, just if you can unmute and tell me, then let me tell that what is your problem. Till the time Dhanush is responding, I will just say that the portal, Anubhav is saying portal sometimes does not work. 50 gateway error. Actually, we are uploading new. Okay, we are uploading new case scenarios and MCQs for you. So that's why sometimes it may not be working. Okay, right answers are marked as incorrect. That is happening if you are marking the answer as A and it will be showing it as 1. So that will be the only problem. Otherwise, generally the answers are not like that. Okay. Rajveer, that is the problem we are also facing, because the only thing is 1 and A. So even if it's showing as A and you have marked it as 1, take it as correct only. There is no problem with respect to this. Okay. Is it happening, Rajveer? You can respond to this also, that is it happening like this also, that there is, like, you have marked the correct answer as A or B is also correct, something like that is happening, then it's altogether a different case. Otherwise, 1 and A, I would say that since it will not be affecting on your marks and everything, take it as correct only. Oh, okay. Dhanush, I will... Okay. Can you mail the same? We have a query portal, Dhanush. I will not be able to discuss this here. So request you if you can mail it to us. or on the query portal. I have got. Yeah, thank you, Dhanush. That will be so kind of you. Okay. Anshi, I have taken a note of it. Thank you. मैम निधि is saying मैम BOS app में कोई भी notes and PPT not showing. बच्चे which subject? Because ma'am is uploading the notes once your chapter is over. Before that, Shrikant sir also has done the same. If it's happening for some other subject, go to the query portal, go to the subject and respond on that.
Ma'am, I spoke to Ajit sir also today. He's also checking at the back end. He has uploaded the chapter 3 and 4 also. But few of the
Yes.
students were not able to see it. So sir said that he will check it at the back end.
ठीक है, Harleen ma'am, I will check.
All right.
Okay, one more thing is any other. Okay. Okay, so the queries that I have got till now are done. Ma'am, are you still doing the class or?
Ma'am, we have almost completed. We were just doing a revision of what we have discussed today, and they have answered the MCQs also. So I'll just take a note. If they have any queries, I will be there to answer them. So students, if you have any queries, you can write it down in the chat box. So we were just completing the chapter. I was just trying to tell you that acceptance of deposits we have done. Now your homework is, after revising the chapter, please go through all the descriptive questions given in the module first. Before you jump to any RTPs and MTPs, your responsibility is to first read the descriptive questions also. So if institute has made an effort, they have made the answers beautifully described for you in the module itself. Try writing the answer and compare your answer with what is written over there. So then you can expect the better marks, because we can't learn the module as it is, but yes, the framing of answers is very, very important. So first revise the chapter, do the answers, and then you will jump to the RTPs and MTPs. All right. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Tanu says, no, ma'am, no doubt. Ms. P has written everything clear. Anubhav is writing all clear. Thank you, ma'am. So I don't think any one of them still have a doubts.
So students, as you all are aware that BOS has taken an initiative to provide the students, just a moment. So the BOS has taken an initiative to provide you students with the webinar, which we discussed. I told you in the starting also, wherein we will be discussing about the queries of students so that they can attempt their paper and prepare for their paper in a better manner. So just see it, then we can discuss it. So students, I'm so sorry for the disturbances that are being caused. I'm really sorry, students. So as you have seen, our leadership of ICAI will be guiding you through that how you can attend the paper, what all you need to attend this, not only the paper, the mindset that is needed for this course. And it is a very insightful seminar, or rather I should say a webinar that you can attend. And more than that, there is one more thing, that you have to attend it in the same manner like the way you are taking the classes. Some students were asking about that, what is the link for the webinar? The way you are attempting your classes and log in through the ICAI portal, in the same manner you have to attend it. Okay, so make the best use of it. You will be guided by the best of the people. President sir is there, VP sir is there, Chairman sir is there, and Vice Chairman sir is also there. Okay. Lean ma'am, you are on mute.
Yes, ma'am. I was just saying that students are so blessed that they're given such kind of opportunities. I was remembering our time that we never had such kind of big opportunities in interacting with such big people from Board of Studies direct. So I think they must utilize this kind of things. They must participate and come and have certain query sessions with the rounds.
We are always there with you. Harleen ma'am is your perfect mentor to guide you through everything, but we still don't have that kind of an experience what sir, like the leadership will be having.
Yes,
So we
exactly.
request you to kindly attend it. That's all from
So
my side, ma'am.
Right, ma'am. So on 28th of April, when I meet you next, I would love to hear your experiences about 25th April live session that you'll be attending. All right. So all the best and do attend it. All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, students.
Harleen ma'am, and good evening, students.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Yes, sir. We are done. Thank you so much.